the stabilization force should go beyond the yellow line if there isn't agreement on the disarmament of Hamas.
Well, eventually, the way to think about it is eventually there won't be a yellow line. Eventually there'll be Gaza, and none of it will be controlled by Hamas. Right now, that yellow line is what differentiates between the parts of Gaza under Hamas control and the ones that are not in Hamas control. Eventually, none of it should be under Hamas control. There should be a civilian Palestinian organization that runs Gaza. And that's the goal, is to stand that organization up, give it capacity, allow it to grow in both capability and credibility, and ultimately it will govern Gaza. The Israelis don't want to govern Gaza. We don't want to govern Gaza. No country in the Middle East wants to govern Gaza. But it'll take some time to build up that capability, and in the interim, someone has to provide security.
It just sounds like you're saying the ISF wouldn't go in until there is a full withdrawal of the Israelis.
Well, that's what's being worked on in the resolution, and those are the questions that key partner countries are asking before they participate. And so that's part of the ongoing conversations that are happening, but clearly there'll have to be some delineation of all of that before countries sign up, and that's part of what's going on. I don't want to comment on it in detail simply because it's still being worked on and negotiated as part of the drafting.
There's been a spate of violence in the West Bank. Critics say that West Bank settlers have carried out this violence with impunity. I'm just wondering what your reaction is to that, if you could see that in any way potentially undermining or endangering some of these agreements in Gaza.
I hope not. I mean, I think I saw comments today from the President of Israel and even from the head of the IDF in that region condemning what happened. I think they also attacked Israeli forces as part of this. So I don't have all the details on exactly what happened, but this has happened in the past. But yes, look, certainly there's some concern about events in the West Bank spilling over and creating an effect that could undermine what we're doing in Gaza. We don't expect it to. We'll do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen. I think you're just talking about the violence part. But I thought today the comments were very strong by the President of Israel and also by the IDF commander in the area. His own troops were attacked, as well as police officers. So I thought the Israelis today responded, and they actually sent forces to respond to the attacks today as well, which is why their forces came under attack by some of these elements.
Mr. Secretary,
hold on one second. Go ahead.
Sorry, on Syria, the U.S. is allowing Syria to resume embassy operations in the United States. Is the U.S. looking to resume embassy operations in Syria? Are you working towards?
Well, it's a little safer in Washington than it is in Damascus right now, so I think that that's part of it. Look, we want to give these guys every chance to succeed. They told us what they want to do is create a national Syrian government in which every element of Syrian society is represented and feels safe. They don't want Syria to ever again be a base of operations for Iran, for ISIS, or for any of these groups. They want it to be a country, not a launching pad for attacks against their neighbors. And so we want to give them every chance to succeed in that regard. The alternative is that if it doesn't work, if this doesn't happen and it collapses, then the alternative is going to be that Syria will fall into civil war and it'll become a playground for virtually every dangerous element in the Middle East, and including a return of Iran, and it'll even strengthen Hezbollah. So we don't want to see that happen. So this is the best option on the table to prevent that from happening. So we want to give these guys every chance to succeed. We hope that they do. No one can guarantee that it will. That what the task they're taking on is very difficult. That includes, there are parts, some of the elements that helped the current government come to power and drive Assad out are foreign fighters. Some of them that helped them are people that have some pretty radical views, and they're not all entirely under the control of the government in Damascus. There are issues with the Kurds in the north. There are issues with Bedouin and Druze in the south. So there's concerns that Israel has about its own security. All these things have to be balanced. So it's a tough task, but I ask everybody the alternative. The alternative, if this fails, let's say that this government project fails either because they make it fail or because they're just not successful, then what you're going to see is Syria fall into total civil war, and it'll just become an ungoverned space and a playground for ISIS, for